Welcome back to a weekly video of Mermay, where I spend the entire month of May drawing mermaids and sirens alike once every day. And this year I will be making my own list with the theme Fruits. If you missed my last video last week, the link will be on screen or in the description down below, so you can go check that one out before continuing this week. Or just watch this one first. Either way, thank you. So, like I stated last video, and in order to make this list, I looked up different kinds of fruits, found out there's so much more than I ever realized, picked a website with just enough of them, threw them onto a wheel, and spun. And with all that info out of the way, on to this week. Starting with day 9, we got avocado! The fruit that I always thought was a vegetable until I remember it literally has a giant seed, like a peach. Or like the apricot I did last video. So of course I did a double take when I first saw it on the fruits list I chose to use, and now it has been chosen. I think it's safe to say that I don't eat a lot of avocados, let alone know a lot about them. Except that they're super healthy, on toast, and apparently called an alligator pear. Or that there are avocado flowers. Look at them, they're so pretty. Unfortunately, I did not use either of those facts as inspiration because how could I not go for the iconic look of a simple avocado? I'll definitely save the flowers idea for a future video though, so keep a lookout for that. But back to the drawing. I used the classic pear shape of an avocado for her hair, as well as tried to give her a quote-unquote pear-shaped body type. And the one big thing I was thinking about was to whether or not make two versions, where one is the avocado half that has the seed and the other without it. Let me know if you guys think it would be good to have both versions as a pear. No pun intended because it is an avocado. I of course decided to only do one mermaid and kept the seed half. So again, I did not learn about the avocado flowers until after I was finished, but I did use the leaves for her tail fins instead, since I already made the inside of the avocado her hair. The scales brush has returned, here's the content ID, I used Clip Studio, and I kept the texture very simple since an avocado is usually pretty smooth. Once I got all the colors and shading done, she was finished. Here is day 9. And yes, I had to give her an avocado top. Now moving on to day 10, we got banana. Another superfruit right after avocado. Best known for being the potassium fruit and one of the fastest spoiling fruits you could ever have. Fun fact, I recently learned that bananas are considered dangerous for boats for bringing bad luck on a sea journey. Things like if you bring a banana on board, you can cause the rest of the food to rot just as fast as the banana spoils, or repel any fish so no one can catch any, or worse, cause ships to either sink or just plain disappear. Honestly, thinking logically, it's not hard to believe why any of these superstitions started. Since bananas spoil so fast, I wouldn't be surprised that it caused ships to be reckless, trying to make a delivery before the bananas go bad. And if your food rots out in the insanely large ocean, yikes. That comes from the fact that bananas release something called ethylene gas, which causes other food to rot faster. I don't know, science. So if you ever wanted to go fishing with some lunch, you know what to avoid. And avoid the sunscreen, yes, just in case. Now with that fun fact done, I decided to use banana slices for her tail fins to show off the little seeds in a banana and the peel as her dress. I did think to turn the banana peel upside down so the peels could act like octopus legs, but I had that thought a little too late and just kept my first idea. Of course I had to make her hair the bundles of bananas we always see, and it made her eyes little bananas. I added the little spots of browning to have a little more detail, and I avoided using the scales brush this time to keep the banana as banana-like as possible. Now I feel like I've said the word banana too many times. It can't be that bad, right? Maybe it was the retakes. Either way, here's day 10. Which song do you think works for her? And now on to day 11, we got kiwi! Okay, so I'm just getting superfoods so far, and I am not complaining. Then again, every fruit is really healthy, so that shouldn't be surprising. What qualifies something as a superfood? Well, besides that, if you're wondering why it had to be called a kiwi fruit, it's because there's another kiwi. This kiwi, the kiwi bird from New Zealand. Adorable. Now, funny enough, the kiwi bird not only predates the kiwi fruit, the fruit was originally called the Chinese gooseberry. Then in 1959, it was changed to kiwi fruit because it just looks so much like the kiwi bird. Ain't that fun? Also, there are multiple colors for a kiwi fruit. Kiwi fruits can be gold and red. I've never seen those before, so let me know if any of you have, and if it tastes any different. Now for the kiwi mermaid, I made the inside of a kiwi fruit, her body, and tail fins. I think the seeds are pretty important in selling the kiwi fruit part. And I gave her a little kiwi bun for a little touch to her hair, plus to show off the fruit. It was supposed to be more fuzzy, but I ran pretty late with this one again, so I focused on getting the main kiwi body done first. I think her tail fins are one of my favorites, and I forgot about it until I started recording. I was going to give her a little kiwi bird tattoo somewhere. I don't know if that was a good or bad idea to avoid, but now you know, because just like now, she is done. A sweet mermaid that shares a name with a fruit and a bird. And now, day 12. We've got papaya! A fruit I'm a little surprised I've never actually tried, especially since I enjoy saying papaya so much. And just like the avocado earlier, papayas also have a flower when they grow. I really should look at more plants when they grow. There's so many with flowers I never knew about. Another fun fact about papayas is that it's not surprising I never ate one before, since they have a lot of problems to deal with. Like 2 major diseases that attack papaya trees, a bunch of fungi, pests like fruit flies, 2-spotted spider mites, and the papaya whitefly. Also, never eat an unripe papaya because you could be allergic to the latex fluid in one, and it would not be fun. I didn't know they had a latex fluid, and so do you. I just had to add those in because they were the first facts about papayas I found out about. You can still enjoy the juice if I made you scared of the actual fruit. I might get one after this video, or maybe some jam. I'm really curious to how it tastes. So before I go grocery shopping for some, I decided to make my mermaid hold a papaya to show the difference. And because I was struggling with her pose for a good while, I saved time by making the fruit have its actual seeds. And a little tip for making poses, it's good to have your character act like they're interacting with something or someone off screen, just so you don't always draw the same pose over and over like I used to. So once I got all the colors figured out and added a little gradient on her hair, she was done. At least she's safe from the usual pests in the water. Moving on to day 13, we got goji berry, also known as the wolfberry. I'm not kidding, this one is yet another superfood. This one though is an ingredient in East Asian traditional medicine too, so it's not a surprise that people like to exaggerate how good it is. So much so that the FDA gave 2 goji distributors warnings for false advertisement, and is mostly considered a new drug. It looks like the goji berries got into a lot of controversies for similar reasons in multiple places, but ultimately you can still eat them just fine. I just find it a little funny that most of the information is either about how healthy a goji berry is, or about how they were in multiple controversies for not being good enough for medicine. Thankfully, I didn't need any of that to design my mermaid. Just looking at a picture of one, you can see why I chose to make her dorsal fin a bunch of goji berries, along with the tail fins once again being the leaves. I thought her holding a goji berry would be cute. I was a little worried about time when I came up to shading her, but I somehow made it, especially with the scales brush. It helped me so much. And now we have our 13th mermaid all set up. Pretty simple, just a bit tedious. I might try a goji berry soon. And now for day 14, we got cantaloupe. Okay, so if you watched my first video, you know what I said about cantaloupes, and I have to clarify, I don't dislike them, I just prefer the other melons. I'm very biased towards the watermelon, like most are, from what I've seen. But for every cantaloupe lover, I'll just give you mine, and we can all be happy. Also, make sure to wash your cantaloupes thoroughly because there's been cases of salmonella on the outside of them. I never knew that before, but now I guess I understand why I'm more likely to see a full honeydew or watermelon over a cantaloupe. Because all I've known about cantaloupes is the cube versions. Either way, it is also known to be a type of true melon. Science classifications can be so funny and weird. But aside from that, looking up references for cantaloupes was weirdly way more difficult than I thought, because they seem to have different seed pockets, that's what I'm calling them, depending on how and where they're grown, I guess. And they keep comparing them with honeydew. So it was a bit confusing, but eventually I decided on one and focused on coloring and shading. I did do the same scribbles trick I did on my honeydew from my previous video, but this time I tried using a thicker brush to mostly cover the green underside. I'm not entirely sure if that was a good decision, but eventually I finished, and a little overlay to make her brighter and closer to cantaloupe, because I accidentally made her a little too red. She was done. She would choose the cantaloupes over the other melons. Now moving on to day 15, we got Plum. Oh, I just had to make a Courage the Cowardly Dog reference with this one. Happy Plums! For those that have no idea what I'm talking about, Happy Plums is a recipe made by Muriel in the show Courage the Cowardly Dog. The show has always been one of my top favorites, and this episode is one of my favorites. Courage basically uses the Happy Plums to help everyone from nowhere from the unhappy cannonballs made by the depressed Dr. Zelost. Yes, his name is a pun. It's super sweet and hilarious, and I have always been curious about how to actually make Happy Plums. Some people have made their own recipes referring to Happy Plums. Will I ever give them a try? Maybe. Especially because it seems that they involve sour cream and balsamic vinegar. So let me know which one to try and we'll see what happens. But for now, back to the drawing. I think I did a good job keeping her plum. The dorsal fin was a very last minute decision, but I think it helps balance her, specifically when it comes to the colors. And I'm afraid I made the sour cream seem like the plums are steaming underwater, but it's supposed to be the sour cream floating away. Hopefully it's not too weird, but I think she's adorable either way. I may be biased, but I'm very happy with her. Once every plum and leaf is shaded, she was done. I hope she helps make your day just a little bit happier. And now, the final day for this weekly video, day 16. We got cranberries! A classic holiday fruit since they are harvested between mid-September to early November. Now, I don't know about you, but the very first time I have ever heard of cranberries were when people talked about Thanksgiving dinners. I never knew much else about them until I finally decided to try some once I saw a bag for the holidays. I dried them out and made cranberry juice and white chocolate chip cranberry cookies. And now I have my entire family hooked on them. Me included. A pretty big reason as to why I finally caved in to trying them was seeing how they were harvested. They literally dragged them in the middle of a cranberry sea. That just looked so fun to do that I looked more into it to see how I could at least try to do it once. If they accepted volunteers, I would contribute. Now, of course, the liver is one thing, but I'm sure just doing it for a little while wouldn't be so bad. Oh god, there are spiders. Oh, they're called wolf. Oh, they're called wolf spiders. Oh. So wolf spiders made me say nope, just buy some when you see them in the store. And I did. Now, before you get the fire, wolf spiders are very important and not aggressive. But they do tend to climb the highest thing in the sea of cranberries once the fields are flooded to pick them. So, of course, that would mean the people in the cranberry sea, but hey, they all look happy when I see their pictures. So, I thank everyone who harvests cranberries for their bravery and hard work, because I could never, but I will enjoy their cranberries. And now, back to my drawing. I have decided to make her dorsal fin the cranberries, and made her whole body, instead of just the tail, full of scales because I thought it would look very much like the sea of cranberries. And with a little cranberry barrette to top her off, she was very easy and fun to finish. Ta-da! Isn't she adorable? And here are all the mermaids for this video. Week 2 has officially finished, and I'm hoping to keep staying on schedule for next week's video. Which ones were your favorite? Mine, I think, is definitely the cranberry and then the plum. We are halfway into the month and we still got 2 more left, so I hope you all look forward to those and for the rest of my shorts showing off all days. But until then, like, comment, and subscribe for more, check out my shop, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.